Tammany Parish Planning Commission. Today is Tuesday, April the 11th, 2017. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Casabon? Here. Mr. Lauren? Here. Mr. Richardson? Mr. Richard? Here. Mr. Willie? Here. Mr. Davis? Here. Mr. Fitzmaurice? Here. Mr. Doherty? Mr. Drum? Here. Mr. Randolph? Here. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we respectfully ask that you silence all phones and electronic devices. If you wish to appeal any recommendation of this commission, appeals cards are to our right. If you wish to speak in front of the commission, we would ask that you fill out a speaker's card so we have it for our records. Each side will be provided 10 minutes to present their case with 5 minutes of rebuttal. And lastly, at the end of the case, if you wish to discuss it any further, we would ask that you exit the building, as if you go back into the lobby area, it echoes into the chamber. This time, we would ask you to stand with an invocation by Commissioner Randolph, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Davis.
Gracious Father, once again, we come to you to say thank you for all the blessings you have granted unto us in our lives. We thank you for this gorgeous weather. We thank you for your grace and mercy as you watched over us all this day, brought us to this place tonight, and we ask, Lord, that you continue to endow us with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on this commission. Bless each and every one of us and those that's in the audience and those in the communities that we serve. Bless our government, bless St. Tammany, and all these blessings we ask in your holy name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In our packets are the minutes from March 14th, 2017. Any revisions, or I'll entertain a motion? Commissioner Randolph.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Randolph to accept the minutes, second by Commissioner Drum. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. This is a public hearing. The public is encouraged to speak on behalf or in opposition of the cases. Staff, are there any postponements?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On page 3, under preliminary subdivision review, the first case and the second case, or the developers are requesting postponement until the May 9th meeting.
So that is case 2017-586 PP and 2017-605?
Correct.
PP? Okay. We will read those in. Under preliminary subdivision, 2017-586-PP, Simpson Farms, Ward 3, District 3, developer owner, Prudent Creek Partners, LLC, engineer Kelly McHugh and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Red Thompson. This was postponed at the March 14th, 2017 meeting, and the developer has requested postponement until May 9th, 2017. Is the petitioner here? Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of Prudent Creek Partners, LLC. We're in the process of making some revisions to the plat, which required a resubmittal. So in order to give your staff time to be able to review that before we come to you, we would ask for an extension until next month.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
I make a motion to postpone till the next month's meeting.
Motion by Commissioner Lauren to postpone until May 9th meeting, second by Commissioner Willie. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-605-PP, Perilou Trace, Ward 1, District 4, developer owner, Perilou Properties LLC, engineer, Aero Engineering and Consulting, Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Michael Lorino, Jr. Mr. Shane.
Good evening. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington. I represent the owner and petitioner with this project, and based on the comments of staff, we're making some adjustments and certainly want to address each of the staff comments in detail. We think we'd be in a better position to do so in May, and certainly intend to turn in our work product timely so that staff will have a chance to analyze it.
So you would like postponement until the May meeting?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item until next month's meeting, May meeting.
Motion by Commissioner Randolph to postpone until the May meeting. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Just a point of clarity on the plat, on your restricted covenant number 6, it says no mobile homes will not be permitted to occupy lots. That's just a double negative. You might want to
Okay.
clean that up. Thank you.
We'll
I'll
work
second.
on that. Thank you.
Did he second it? Second by Commissioner Davis. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. Back to the top of the agenda, entering parish right-of-ways, servitudes, and easements. Entering parish right-of-way, Dixie Ranch Road and Young Drive, Ward 9, District 11. Request to enter parish right-of-way for the purpose of laying fiber optic cable. The debtor, Southern Light LLC, Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Steve Stefanczyk. Staff.
This is to enter the right-of-way, granting permission to Southern Light to enter permission to enter right-of-way on Dixie Ranch Road and Young Road.
Thank you. Mr. Shane.
I'm not sure if that was some happy or unhappy customers.
I don't know. Obviously, they get the message to exit the building.
Yes, that's all right. Good evening again. Jeff Shane of Jones Fussell, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, 70434, and I represent Southern Light. All three requests on your end of the parish right-of-way are very similar. They're just at different locations. I think you're familiar with Southern Light and know that we're in the business of running fiber optic. It's our belief that our application's in order, that your staff does not have any issues with our drawings, and we respectfully request permission to enter the public right-of-way. If any of you have any questions, I also have some representatives of the company with me this evening. We'll be glad to address those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Shane.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
I make a motion to approve. Are we doing all three at one time, or just
No, we'll do them individually.
one?
Yes, ma'am.
The Dixie Ranch Road?
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Richard. Any further comments? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries. Entering parish right-of-way, 12th Street, Ward 3, District 2. Request to enter parish right-of-way for the purpose of laying fiber optic cable. The debtor, Southern Light LLC. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Dennis Sharp. Staff.
This enter the parish right-of-way is for permission on, which Which road? Sharp Road.
Thank you. Mr. Shane?
Same comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public, bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Willie. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. Entering Parish right-of-way, 3rd Avenue, Ward 8, District 14. Request to enter Parish right-of-way for the purpose of laying fiber optic cable. The debtor, Southern Light LLC. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable T.J. Smith. Staff?
This request is also for entering the parish right-of-way for laying fiber optic cable on 3rd Street.
Thank you. Mr. Shane?
Same comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone in the public wishes to speak in favor? Anyone wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve. Second by Commissioner Drum. Any further comments? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Minor subdivisions, 2017-579-MSP, an 11.552 acre parcel and 60-foot wide right-of-way into parcels A1 through A5, Ward 4, District 5. The owner, Warren Campagna, Jr., and Wesley Favaloro. Surveyor, Randall W. Brown and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Reichert Toledano. Postponed at the March 14th, 2017 meeting. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The owner is proposing to create 5 parcels from a 11.552 acre parent parcel, and since more than one of the parcels are being accessed by a private drive, said drive must be constructed to a minimum parish standard in accordance with Section 40-045.01, minimum construction standards for a private drive of Subdivision Regulatory Ordinance 499. In addition, the survey needs to be amended to depict the name of the private drive as an extension to Williamsburg Drive as follows: Williamsburg Drive, and within parentheses, private drive extension. Furthermore, a waiver of the regulations are required since more than 5 lots will access the private drive. 4 to 5 parcels in the minor subdivision will utilize the private drive, while 3 out parcels on the south side of the private drive and proposed parcel 5A, I'm sorry, excuse me, but 3 parcels outside of the tract on the south side of the drive will also utilize the private drive, and parcel A5 technically does not meet the required road frontage of 150 feet for the A2 zoning district. Therefore, if the commission decides to approve this request, a waiver of the regulations are required relative to the lot width and private drive usage issues, and a 2/3 majority vote of the full membership is required, which is 8 members, in order to approve pursuant to Section 40-100 waiver of regulations of Subdivision Ordinance 499.
Thank you. Mr. Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of Mr. Campagna, who is the petitioner for the minor resub. We have no objection to any of the comments that Mr. Keller just read into the record. We intend to fully comply with the requirements with regards to the private drive and the relabeling of Williamsburg Drive on the plat. Presently, Mr. Campagna owns the entire tract that is subject to the resub. His intent with creating the 4 parcels on the south end is to provide homes for, or sites for, his children, who 3 of which will be moving back, 1 of which he hopes will be moving back. And for those reasons, we would respectfully request your approval this evening. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of the commissioners may have with regards to our request or the plat before you.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Ron, you said A5 doesn't meet the minimum?
It technically doesn't meet the minimum requirements on the public roadway. The A2 zoning requires 150-foot frontage on a public road. It only has 60-foot at that right-of-way where it ties into Williamsburg.
60, okay, I see it.
Yeah. Technically, the lot does have a lot of width on the private drive, but it also accesses the public road, which is a requirement of a minor subdivision. You have to have at least one lot tying into a public road, and it doesn't meet that 150 requirement. So it's a technical issue, really.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Casabon?
I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve.
Second.
With the waiver. Yes,
With the waiver. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comment? We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-611-MSP, parcel A2 into parcels A2A and A2B, Ward 4, District 5. Owner, Lexi Mellerin and Rita Stevens. Surveyor, John E. Bono and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Reichert Toledano. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason why the public hearing is required is that parcel A2 is part of an existing minor subdivision. The owner is proposing to create two parcels from an existing parcel, parcel A2, within an existing minor subdivision. And since the request does comply with all code requirements, the staff has no objections to the proposed minor subdivision.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Mary Thompson, 162 Hickory Street, Covington, Louisiana, 70433.
And the reason for the request?
I'm here to represent my mother and my aunt, and they wish to divide the property and section off that acre in order to keep that and kind of downsize and build a double on that acre that we're going to keep. For myself to live on one side with my husband and family, and then my mother and my aunt to live on the other.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve, second by Commissioner Willie. Any further comment? Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-612-MSP, a 127.726 acre parcel in the lots 1 through 5, Ward 10, District 6. The owner, Hickory Estates LLC, Surveyor Kelly McHugh and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Richard Tanner. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason why public hearing is required is proposed lots 2 and 5 technically do not meet the 200-foot minimum road frontage for the A1's 300-foot minimum road frontage for the A1 zoning district, and a private drive is required to access 3 of the lots. The owner of the property is proposing to create 5 lots and an access servitude parcel from a 127.726 acre parent parcel, and will provide primary access to the lots through the creation of a private drive. Furthermore, as stated above, lots 2 and 5 technically do not meet the 300-foot minimum public road frontage for the A1 zoning district. Therefore, if the commission decides to approve this request, the waiver of the regulations are required relative to the lot width issue for said lots. A 2/3 majority vote of the full membership, 8 members, is required in order to approve. Furthermore, the private drive to be constructed and or improved must meet all applicable parish road construction standards pursuant to Section 40-045 minimum construction standards for a private drive of subdivision ordinance 499 prior to the survey plat being recorded for public record.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of Hickory Estates, LLC, and Mr. Jonathan Kernion and Mike Hall, who are the principals of the entity. As you see, this is a 127-acre tract. We're proposing to create 5 relatively large parcels accessing off of the private drive. We are requesting the waiver that Mr. Keller mentioned with regards to the front width of lots 2 and 5. However, as you will see, there is still ample width on the private drive for each of those lots, and in fact, both of those lots, one of which is well over 30 acres. So it's a very low-density division of this property. We would respectfully request your approval with the waivers as set forth in the staff comments, and we understand the requirements with regards to the private drive, and we will comply with those prior to the plats being recorded. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of the commissioners may have, but we would respectfully request your approval this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Hearing none at this time, I close it to the public, bring it to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Paul, Hickory Estates Lane, that's private all the way to Low Davis, or is that begin somewhere where these lots begin?
Hickory Estates Lane is private entirely. It will join Low Davis, from Low Davis to the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. And being large lots like that and low density, I move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve, second by Commissioner Casabon. Commissioner Davis.
Paul?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, lots 2 and lots 5. I see lot 3, it also ends in that cul-de-sac. Is that 300 feet as well?
The version of the plan I have, I can't read that small, but
It's awfully short.
so I can't.
Okay.
I believe that it does, but I
It
can't.
ends on a cul-de-sac, so, I mean, that's what we allow, in the past, but I just was wondering if lot 3 was also that same consideration. I just can't read that small, and I would think it's got to be small in 300 too. But anyway, it's okay. I'm just saying, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to have a 300-foot road frontage on a cul-de-sac. Yeah, it's usually 100 is what
Right.
you would need for that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Willie. Okay, just wanted to clarify with the waiver. Are there any other comments? We've got a motion by Commissioner Willie. Yes, sir. Turn your microphone on, Commissioner Lauren, please.
Paul, if you could get a copy of that plat, the same question, and I'm not opposed to it, I'm just raising the same question that was raised earlier. Explain to me why 2 needs a waiver and 3 doesn't.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Keller as to why that would be, since they're both on the cul-de-sac.
Again, Mr. Lauren, it's on a cul-de-sac. If it was a straightaway not on a cul-de-sac, the 300-foot would be required. But when it's on a cul-de-sac, you have a lesser requirement.
Okay, but 2's on the cul-de-sac.
If I can make a point, I believe the cul-de-sac has more width on lot 3 than it does on lot 2. Is that correct? Is that why where the 100-foot comes into play?
Hey, you only need a waiver for Lot 2 because if you look at that little finger to the west, it ties into LA 1083, which is a public road. So technically, it would require a 300-foot frontage.
I was just trying to keep him from having to come back again,
Which is much appreciated, Mr. Lauren.
If it was going to be required, let's get it done and get it over.
Agreed.
But if it's not required, so be it.
Thank you, Commissioner Lauren. Any other comments or questions? If not, we've got a motion by Commissioner Willie to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Casabon. Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-613-MSP, parcel D1 into parcels D1A-1 through D1A-4, Ward 1, District 1. Owner, 3Z's Building Company, LLC. Surveyor, Randall W. Brown and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Marty Dean. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reasons for the public hearing for this one is that parcel D1A is part of an existing minor subdivision. One of the parcels do not meet the 80-foot width requirement on a public road for the commercial zoning district that it's located in, and one of the parcels utilizes a shared private driveway, which I believe is D, look on your survey, is parcel D1A-2. The owner is proposing to create 4 parcels from an existing parcel DA1 within an existing minor subdivision. If the commission were to approve this request, the following waivers would need to be granted. Proposed parcel A1 D1A-2 does not meet the minimum 80-foot width requirement on a public road for the HC highway commercial zoning, and proposed parcel DA1-2 utilizes a shared private drive with parcel A. Again, if you refer to your survey, that parcel A is on the, I believe it's on the west side there, east side, on the, I'm sorry, to the north. That is a parcel within the original minor subdivision. Therefore, if the commission decides to approve this request, a waiver of the regulations are required relative to the lot width and shared private drive issues, and a 2/3 majority vote of the full membership is required, 8 members, in order to approve pursuant to Section 40-100, waiver of regulations of Ordinance 499.
Thank you. Mr. Morone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of 3Z's Building Company, LLC, and Mr. Zappardo, who is the owner of the tracks. Expanding on Mr. Keller's comments, the request for the resub is to be able to give a parcel of record status to these lots out there, in particular parcel D1A2, D1A3, and D1A4. Each of those either have a use on them and building on them already, or there is one that is about to be commenced. D1A2 is the Winn-Dixie parcel. D1A3 is the strip mall that contains 5 guys, and D1A4 will house the half-shell oyster restaurant, which will be constructed shortly. So the purpose is to be able to create individual parcels for each of those uses. The waivers that we're asking apply to D1A2. And if you look at your survey, you will see that, in fact, D1A2 is a flag lot, and it has frontage on Highway 21, but not in the 80-foot width that is required. It's actually 52.73 feet, I believe. However, that flag, that portion of that lot, forms 1/2 of the boulevard entrance that is used to access the Zappardo property, if you will, on the plat, as well as the Bowers property that is on the north side. So there is a shared drive there with an agreement between the parties that they will be able to utilize that boulevard, each owning half. So that is the reason for the waiver. That's the story behind each of them. We would respectfully request your approval of the re-subdivision as set forth on the plat, subject to the waivers, and I'll be happy to answer any questions any of the commissioners may have.
Thank you, Mr. Morone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
Paul?
Yes, sir.
In particular on D1A4, we're not proposing any additional curb cuts, are we?
We are not.
Okay, that's the only question I had. Okay.
Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve with the waivers. So waiver.
That's a good question.
Yes. Second by Commissioner Lauren. Mr. Savant.
Paul, just a quick question. I can't tell from this survey, but who has the obligation of maintaining the shared drive?
It is a shared obligation between the 2 owners.
Okay, so there is no dominant or it's a shared obligation, shared rights?
Yes, and actually, each is a dominant and each is a servient.
Okay.
Because it's a boulevard owned, one half owned by one owner and the other half owned by the other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fitzmaurice, that was with the waiver, correct? Thank you. Any other comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Lauren. Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-614-MSP, Tracks A and B into Tracks A1, A2, and B1. Ward 6, District 11. Owner, Mellerin et al., Surveyor J.V. Burks and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Steve Stefanczyk. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reasons for the public hearing is that tracks A and B are part of an existing minor subdivision, and one tract does not technically meet the minimum 150-foot lot width requirement for the A2 zoning district. The owner is proposing to create 3 tracts from 2 existing tracts, A and B, within an existing minor subdivision, and due to the fact that proposed tract A2 does not meet the minimum 150-foot width requirement on a road for the A2 zoning district, a waiver of the regulations are needed for approval. Therefore, if the commission decides to approve the request relative to the lot width issue, a 2/3 majority vote of the membership is required, 8 members to approve, pursuant to Section 40-100 waiver regulations of subdivision ordinance 499.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Yes. If you would come to the podium, sir, state your name and address and the reason for your request.
The reason for my request is because it's a family piece of land that we purchased, and my grandson now it's wanting to build in that area. So we giving him, I'm giving him a half acre, and so is my son in the back right here.
And if you would state your name and address.
I'm sorry about that. My name is Johnny Mellerine. I'm 66412 Chris Kennedy Road, Pearl River, Louisiana.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request?
You in favor?
Sir, you wish to?
I'm also donating the half acre to make up the whole acre. My name's David Mellerine. Live at 66406 Chris Kennedy Road, Pearl River.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
I'll make a motion to approve with the waiver.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Willie. Commissioner Davis.
I have a question, please, for any one of the gentlemen. On track A1 and B1, are those mobile homes on those sites?
Yes.
Okay, and then on track A2, is there going to be another mobile home on that?
I think he's wanting to build a house.
Okay,
Not a
'cause it's
mobile
just-
home.
If they do decide to build a mobile home, would they have to come back and ask for MHO?
I mean, I'm not sure if there's an overlay there or not, but yes, they would have to do that.
All right,
yes.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Willie. Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-615-MSP, a 47.74 acre parcels into parcels A, B, and C, Ward 2, District 3. The owner, Brian Burns III, surveyor John G. Cummings and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Red Thompson. Staff?
Yes, the reasons why a public hearing is required for this is that one parcel is being accessed by a private drive. The owner is proposing to create 3 parcels from a 47.74 acre parent parcel and since the request complies with all code requirements, the staff has no objections to the proposed minor subdivision request.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Yes, sir.
Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Brian Burns, and I live at 127 West Ruel Drive in Mandeville, 70471.
And the reason for the request, sir?
We have a family who'd like to build a home in one of the 5-acre parcels we'll be dividing this into.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Yeah, this seems okay. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. 2017-616-MSP, Parcel A and Parcel capital A, and is that correct? How it's written?
Parcel A and a 5-acre parcel, yeah.
Oh, okay. Parcel A and a 5-acre parcel into parcels A1 through A5, Ward 2, District 2. Owner, Shallow Creek Enterprises, LLC. Surveyor, John G. Bono and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Dennis Sharp. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason why a public hearing is required for this one is that parcels A1 and A5 do not technically meet the minimum 300-foot road frontage requirements for the A1 suburban zoning district. The owner is proposing to create 5 parcels from parcel A consisting of 55.75 acres. The following issues need to be addressed as a condition of approval. The private drive to be constructed and or improved must meet all applicable parish road construction standards pursuant to Section 40-045.01, minimum construction standards for a private drive of subdivision ordinance 499, prior to the survey plat being recorded for public record. Furthermore, if the commission decides to approve this request, the waiver of the regulations are required for the lot width issue for parcels A1 and A5, which requires a 2/3 majority vote, 8 members, in order to approve.
Thank you. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of Shallow Creek Enterprises, LLC. If you will look at the plat, just to clarify the waivers that we need. Again, as you've seen tonight, we're also, again, asking for a waiver on the front footage requirement for, in this case, 2 of the lots, but there's something a little different here that I'll explain to you. But one of the lots, A2, as you will see, it actually extends all the way out to Highway 1082 or Old Military Road. Has ample frontage at the roadway, but it doesn't meet the 300-foot requirement under the A1 zoning, so we would respectfully request that waiver. The other waiver applies to lot A5, and while the plat does reflect 5 different parcels being created, and it is inclusive of A5. In fact, A5 already exists as a separate parcel of record. What we are doing, in fact, there's a home on A5, but if you look at the plat, you'll see the 1.93 acres at the rear, the rather linear piece. We're adding that to the existing parcel to give him a larger yard, ostensibly. So there is a waiver for A5, though A5 already has access. It accesses access via Highway 1081. That access will remain, but we still request a waiver to be totally compliant with the minor subdivision regulations. So with those caveats and explanations, we would respectfully request your approval of the plat before you in accordance with the staff comments and the 2 waivers, and we do recognize that we'll have to meet the minimum construction standards for the private drive as set forth in your staff comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I'll move to approve with the waivers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Lauren.
Paul, just a question of clarification, if you would.
Yes, sir.
That 4.2 acres that's up in the northwest quadrant,
Yes,
that's not part of this in any way?
not a part in any way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve with a waiver, second by Commissioner Davis. Please vote. Motion carries. Petitions, requests, entering the Tammany Trace, we have none. Revocations, closing, review, we have none. Re-subdivision review, we have none. Dormant subdivision review, we have none. Tentative subdivision review, we have none. Preliminary subdivision review, again, 2017-586 PP and 2017-605 PP have been postponed. 2017-606 PP, Jackson Court, Ward 1, District 1. Developer owner, 1781 Properties, LLC. Engineer, Sigma Consulting Group, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Marty Dean. Staff.
The preliminary plans and hydrologic study have been reviewed by this office, and an inspection of the site was made. It's recommended that the preliminary submittal be approved subject to the following comments. On the preliminary plat, the benchmark information provided needs to be revised. The dedication statement, the dedication notes added to the preliminary plat need to be revised. Sample dedication statements can be provided by staff if needed. On the drainage layout sheet, revise the note near the drainage pipe table to state that the catch basins are required at locations where there are changes in pipe material. Informational items, number 1, a copy of the proposed plans needs to be furnished to H2O Systems for their review and approval. 2, a copy of the Corps of Engineers permit is required. 3, plans and specifications for the construction of the project's water distribution lines and sewer collection lines must be approved by LDH. Number 4, a DOTD permit may be required for the utility work within Highway 22 right-of-way. Provide the parish with the DOTD permit or verification that it's not required. Staff recommends approval. No work order will be issued until all items are satisfactorily addressed. No maintenance obligation is required since this project fronts on Highway 22. Mandatory developmental fees will be required at final submittal in accordance with Subdivision Ordinance 499 since no public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. And revised drawings, if required, will be submitted subsequent to this meeting and not before, so that any additional comments established at the meeting can be addressed in the revised drawings. Department of Development Planning has the following comments.
The recreational development plan, as revised, is acceptable to the staff, and we attach a copy of that for your review.
Thank you. Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jeff Shane of Jones Fussell, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington. I represent the owner and developer of 1781 Properties, LLC. We respectfully request preliminary subdivision approval subject to all staff comments. We understand each and every one of those comments and intend to fully comply with those to the satisfaction of staff. If any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them at the proper time.
Thank you, Mr. Shane. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Randolph.
Move to accept.
I'll second
To
it.
approve.
Motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve, second by Commissioner Casabon. Please vote. Motion carries. Final subdivision review, we have none. Proposed amendments to Ordinance 499, we have none. Old business, 2016-448-MSP, and 11.549 acre parcels into lots 1 through 5, Ward 3, District 3. The owner, James and Richard Corr, surveyor John G. Cummings and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Red Thompson. Request for a waiver related to the completion of drainage requirements. Staff.
The petitioner is requesting to install the drainage at a later date when each individual lot's built out.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
I'm Hugh Fitzgerald, 14372 Highway 1077, Folsom. I'm agent for James and Richard Core, and we respectfully request this waiver. The plan is to sell these lots eventually, and we felt like the people who were buying would have a better handle on what kind of drainage needed to be put in at the time, and we've done the plat to include a phrase on the surface of the plat that says that they have to get the drainage taken care of prior to obtaining a building permit, and that was what we were advised by the staff to do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
Yes, this particular area, this makes sense because it is being developed now that, and it is on the plat. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Willie. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. Entering Parish right-of-way, resolution number 16-057, Ward 4, District 5, 6th Street, Chinchuba subdivision. Request to enter parish right-of-way for the purpose of gaining access to property. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Reichert Taladano. Extension of time and new debtors. Staff.
Honorable Commissioners, the above referenced resolution was adopted July 12, 2016, copy attached for ready reference. The resolution states that the petitioner must submit all documentation within a 6-month period from the date of adoption. The property ownership is changed from MDM LLC to Bunkie Properties LLC. The petitioner has not furnished all documentation required within the 6-month period and is requesting an extension of time. See attached email dated 3/14/17. Since the time has expired for the petitioner to furnish all documentation, the following action is required by the Planning Commission to allow the new petitioner to proceed with the project. The Department of Development Engineering has no objection to the extension. The action required, extend adoption date to 4/11/17, thereby extending 6 months submittal of documentation to 10/11/17, and the completion date to 4/11/19.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Thank you. My name is Sid Artigue, 1215 Freed Street in Gretna. I'm here on behalf of the owner, Bunkie Properties LLC. And we're requesting this additional time. The plans for the property are going to be completed probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll be submitted to St. Tammany for permitting purposes.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Anyone in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve, second by Commissioner Richard. Any further comments? Please vote. Motion carries. Is there any new business to come before the commission? If not, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Happy Easter, y'all.